first playoff matchup that we're seeing. It's between New York and LA. I don't think it gets much better than this when you're talking.
Excited, but I totally agree with you. It's somebody's going home tonight, right? And that's hard to know. It's do or die out here. You gotta play well if you want to advance. So I think that the gravity of that truth is being felt by all these guys here tonight.
Yeah, I certainly feel the pressure. These teams will feel the pressure, and obviously the last time we saw both of these teams in action, they walked away with the victory. On Monday, LA clinched the top seed by defeating the Bay thanks to some superb work around the greens by LA Golf Club. Clinching the top seed, they defeated the Bay thanks to some superb work from Tommy Fleetwood there. Chip in on 13, sent his teammates into a frenzy. You can feel the energy. Meanwhile, New York and Xander Schauffele showing off some of his short game magic. This was pretty much a gimme for somebody of his caliber, but got that chip on 15. New York, they would punch their ticket by taking down Boston Common 10-6 in front of number 2, Derek Jeter, the captain.
The winner of the first semifinal match will move on to the finals, where they will take on the winner of tomorrow night's tilt between Atlanta and the Bay. Next week's finals will be a best-of-3 series played on Monday and Tuesday. There is so much on the line beyond the legacy of getting crowned the first ever TGL champion, but the coveted SoFi Cup trophy and a $9 million payday to the winning team.
That's a lot of coin, pulling in Claire Rogers type numbers there. Let's take a look at tonight's matchups for the triples for New York and Xander Schauffele leading things off, followed by Ricky Fowler and Cam Young. And for the number 1 seed LA, Colin Morikawa will lead the way with Tommy Fleetwood and Sahith Theegala. That is the matchup there. All right, Claire, I want to start with this. Who is the most important player for New York tonight?
I am going to go with Xander.
Wow. That's interesting. Great minds think alike. That's
really?
Also my pick.
Well, I just think, he's coming off this rib injury. He's been talking a little bit. He says it's not bothering him too much anymore and that other things are maybe impacting what's going on with him. But I think if it goes well, he has the opportunity to really help the guys out. But I hope he feels healthy tonight, because I would say that's my number 1 guy for them tonight. What about you?
Yeah,
well, you said the same.
I picked Xander Schauffele as well, from a little bit more different reasons than you. We really haven't been able to see him in his full breadth of his game, him thrive and showcase his exceptionalism. This is the world's number 3rd ranked golfer, still looking to find his form, as you said, because of that rib injury. Climbing over that mental hurdle at the Players' Championship just last week, he said that everything was wrong with his game. So something is holding him back. I feel like this is an opportunity for him to not only find his game on the PGA Tour, but maybe unlock something here in the TGL playoffs when the stakes are extremely high. So for New York, I think he is a player that they need to probably step up for them big because of his accolades prior to this, but also what he means to this club going forward.
Totally. And what do you think about for LA?
So LA, my pick is Sahith Theegala. And it's for various different reasons. Obviously, he's a proficient golfer, can handle himself from tee to green, but he's the 3rd man in this rotation in triples. And with 3 of the matches, 5 par 3s on the triples action, he could be called upon to clean up some of those drives, make up chips. He'll also be teeing off on Set in Stone, the 3rd hole. He'll likely have the approach on 5, and then he could be in line for a massive putt on 7. I truly believe the par 3s are where they're going to have opportunities to create some separation. That's where the big points can happen, and he's going to be right in the middle of that. What about you? Who do you think is
I went
that
with
player?
Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
He is the middleman in terms of age tonight on those teams, I think, or on his team, I should say. But I've just always kind of liked his vibe. I think he's very mature and has a calming presence, so I think he could be somebody who kind of keeps the team together in tough moments tonight.
Okay, well, I like Morikawa too, but I think with these playoff stakes being so high, it's an opportunity for Sahith to capitalize, being that player to take a next step in his career very much. So let's take a look at some of the highlights, which from both of these 2 teams kind of got them to this point. First up, it's New York Golf Club. Ricky Fowler on the first hole at this position, putting from 36 feet. Drano from Ricky. And I used this line before, but he read that like a Claire Rogers airport novel. We certainly love you and your novels. In on 3, the 3rd hole, his tee shot He is watching this one. He is crouching tiger on this one. As it gets right there, he sticks it to within 9 feet. His teammate Cam Young would make the birdie. New York goes up 2-0 now. Speaking of Cam Young, check this putt on the 4th hole from 38 feet. Putting is this team's strength. He makes it, and at that time, and still to this time, that's the longest putt in PGL history. Over on 6, Matt Fitzpatrick getting after it, putting from 16 feet. Matty Fitz, he had it the whole way. That put New York up 3-0 at that point. This would extend their lead to 4-0 by the time we got to the 12th hole. And this is why this is significant, because LA had a 2% chance of winning the match on 12. If you've been keeping up with TGL all season, there's only 3 holes after that, so 98% chance of losing. But Sahith Theegala says, take that 26-foot putt with you. Cuts the lead to 4-1 on 13. The newcomer, Tony Finau, he signed a 1-week contract, and he came to play. 10-foot putt from him, a 2-point swing at that point. New York now leads by just 1, and you felt the momentum starting to go LA's way. Then on the par 3, more from Los Angeles, Morikawa. On 14, he was throwing darts. Incredible. Great tee shot to under 6 feet. Onto the putt now, and he's just got cleanup duty. You heard the come on there. He drained it. That tied the match at 4. That's why he was so fired up. And, of course, that would lead us into overtime. It's the closest to the pin, and Morikawa with some more short game magic. Short game is a moneymaker. Puts it down, flips it, and reverses it. Gets that to within 6 feet. LA would complete the improbable comeback, coming back to win this one 5-4, and that was, to this point, I think one of the most electric matches we've seen.
In that previous match on February 24th, New York took 3 big points in triples, but then LA rallied back with 4 points in singles, led by their stellar approach game, as you saw in that highlight for New York. For New York, it was all about the putting, rolling in 129 feet worth of putts. Jemai, do you think that match told you more about New York or more about LA?
It's very interesting because New York lost that game, and obviously LA had an opportunity and capitalized on it, so it's easy to say LA. But for me, that match told me more about New York because it showed their resilience. That's one thing about this team which makes them dangerous in this playoff format, because they started the season 0-2. Last 2 matches they won, overtime loss included in that one. So they got something called Uncle Mo on their side, momentum. And they also didn't have arguably the best player of their bunch for more than half of their matches this season. That's Xander Schauffele. He was there for the first match. Mitch 3 came for the final one. So now they have an opportunity to really put it all together and hit their peak at the most probable time, which is great for them. What about you? Who did it teach you more of?
LA. As you kind of suggested, but just the fact, what was it, they had 2% of a chance of winning on that 12th tee box, and it just kind of showed like their ability to rally and dig deep, I think, when it matters. So that's kind of what I went with. And then
post-match also, you did have a conversation with Ricky Fowler about clinching the playoffs, and they talked about wanting redemption. Is there anything that they can feed off of as it relates to redeeming themselves and trying to get a victory now that it's high stakes playoff golf?
Yeah, I think knowing that there are teams that they've lost to and just they don't like, I mean, these guys are the best competitors in the world. Yeah. And we see that week in and week out, and to get that here. And I think even Shane Lowry made a point the last time they played and they lost. He said, like, nobody out here likes losing. It puts them in a bad mood. So I think that applies to all these guys, and we'll see that here tonight.
I agree with you wholeheartedly, because New York is one of those teams, just like Jupiter and just like Boston, who are out of the playoffs, that was kind of at the bottom, but played steady, played good golf, great in this format, and they just ended up on the short end of the sticks in a lot of their matches, but able to sneak into the playoffs and then play some really good golf towards the end to get them in this position. So I think they can redeem themselves, and they can finally put it all together. And that's where you want to kind of peak, and hopefully they're one of those teams who does it tonight.
We'll see who it ends up with tonight. I mean, if you were to ask me to fully choose, it's hard to predict because both these guys have had, or both these teams have had really impressive seasons.
All right. It'll be interesting. We'll see exactly what happens. We're just getting started here on the pregame show. from the SoFi Center at SoFi Circle, where the SoFi Cup is behind us. That's where all teams will be fighting for it. Our girl Mandy's taking care of it. We'll be back from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida in just a moment.
Golf is a game of tradition, but even it's changed. From the style, to the equipment, to the whatever this is. And if golf can change, why can't banking? Well, with SoFi's game-changing tech, now people can bank, borrow, and invest all in one app, so they can take their best shot at their ambitions. TGL presented by SoFi. Next-gen golf meets next-gen finance. SoFi, get your money right.
Can I ask you some advice? I hate sweating. Do you think I should buy this sauna? No? Really? Can I ask you one more question? There's this show that I hate that I never want to watch again for the rest of my entire life. Do you think I should pay to watch it? No? Verizon lets me choose which streaming services I pay for, while T-Mobile makes me buy things I can't stand. Which one do you think I should choose?
I choose Verizon. Save for yourself. Duh.
Business Solver empowers your HR team with industry-leading software that controls costs and keeps employees really happy. That's Employee of the Decade stuff. That's what it means to be a business solver.
Best short game in TGL presented by SoFi.
Sahith Theala.
Best iron game in TGL.
Myself.
Best golf shoe game in TGL.
None of us.
Best TGL follow on social.
LA Golf Club.
Shot clock. Scared or excited?
Excited.
Which player will call the most timeouts during the season?
Kisner.
Who will be the best dressed on match night?
Our team.
Which player will throw the most hammers during the season?
Probably. I think everyone. I think we're all going to try and say it.
Who will have the most shot clock violations during the season?
I got to think about players. Who's this? Tom Kim. Easy.
Tommy Fleetwood back in the players area getting loose. Fleetwood, he's a really good singles player. One of just two guys who have yet to lose a singles hole this season. He's 3-0-3. The other guy, his teammate, Colin Morikawa, so that certainly bodes well for LA Golf Club. All right, let's get a refresher on the rules on the hammer. If you just tuned in and joined us for this postseason action, when thrown, the hammer raises the stakes of a hole by 1 point. At the start of the match, each team has 3 hammers to use at their discretion. A team can only throw 1 hammer per hole. The maximum a hole can be worth is 3 points if both teams choose to throw a hammer on the same hole, so you can't go too hammer crazy. Although we're happy about the change because earlier in the year you got 1 hammer and that was kind of it. But now with this new rules now in postseason play, how much do you think the hammer strategy will really fall into consideration for these guys?
I think it depends who's playing. I hope that they're more aggressive with it because it is so much fun. I mean, you hear in there these fans screaming, throw the hammer, throw the hammer. But I think the situations where it is being used, we were discussing earlier today, is not where there's a 90% chance that the team throwing it is going to win the hole because then the other team can deny it. So it needs to be closer to like 60-40. So hopefully we get a good amount of those scenarios tonight and they can be aggressive with it.
And I think we will. Yeah. Obviously, these are all the best teams in the league to this point, so they've played themselves pretty well, had close matches, and been able to fight through all the adversity. But the hammer strategy, I think it'll be doubly as important now because you want to create some separation in the playoffs, maybe give yourself an opportunity to get more of breathing room as the matches go on. All right, let's take a look at the lineups now as we get ready and set for this match. It's New York Golf Club, obviously, starting off with the top guys, Xander Schauffele, LA. It's Colin Morikawa. For your money, Claire Rogers, who's the most guy equipped to be thriving in a pressure-packed moment if you need a shot, who are you calling on of this group?
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, if things are going well for Xander and nothing's an issue tonight, I would say he's the one I trust most. Just had a spectacular 2024. So he'd be my one. What about you, Jemai?
This is interesting because we're in lockstep on this again. The guy
We know game.
Yes, I chose Xander Schauffele, but again, for a little bit of different reasons, because he is the easy choice. But actually, I'm going to throw a curveball at you because I thought Schauffele would be the easy choice. He's obviously got the experience in moments, major championship on the PGA Tour, all eyes on him. He's able to thrive in those situations. But the player that I actually like in this situation is somebody that I want to see take that next step, grasp the pressure, because no pressure, no diamonds. Pressure is a privilege. You hear all those things. I like to see Colin Morikawa. He's got all the ingredients for stardom. He's a guy who has experience, and he kind of learned a quick lesson about that at the Players' Championship this week, about the expectations of being one of the best. People want to hear from you, obviously, but he's passionate, he's skilled, he's unafraid, he's got all the ingredients for greatness.
And he just had the sweetest moment with a friend, a young friend that I brought in. He went right up to her, gave her a hug. It made her entire week, definitely. So I have to kind of root for him as well tonight.
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot
he gets
to look forward to tonight. But the SoFi Center has long been home to some of incredible action here with TGL over the past 3 months. And now that we've made it to the playoffs, this state-of-the-art venue has taken stage in the sports world. So let's take a closer look at the playing surfaces that bring this arena to life.
My name's Tanner Kaufman. I'm the Director of Turf Management here at the SoFi Center. That means I'm in charge of all the playing surfaces that you see the players hitting off of. So the natural grass, the artificial turf surfaces in the green, as well as the bunkers. Not only is this going to be different and tech-infused, but we want to stay true to the traditional golf course etiquette and grounds and standards, and natural grass really gets us there. So obviously, we have that change between natural grass and artificial turf. We had a lot of the data and the science that we know that we wanted to achieve with the artificial turf. Thankfully, our partners at Sinlon had the product, and they worked with sports labs to help build from the ground up what this layer system is going to look like, because we want the artificial behind the tee box to play just like that tee box. And I believe that we've pretty much mastered that, and the players really, really like that. A lot of people assume that artificial turf is just lay it and forget about it, but that's definitely not the case. So here we have to think a lot about the angles of how the turf was laid, and then we have to reverse brush that angle as much as we can to give the golfers a true grass feeling. Our infill is a super fine green sand. So instead of the traditional rubber that you would find on a football field, we're using sand, and that gives the club face a lot better of a material to go through and play a lot more like natural grass. And then a lot of attention goes into the green to make sure our cuts are straight, the plugs are straight. I mentioned the green speed is huge here just because of how difficult this green is built. So the good feedback is especially here on the green. Yes, it's artificial. Yes, it moves and undulates and spins, but the golfers are very intrigued with the fact that it checks the way that they want it to. It rolls the way that they want it to. If they want to put a hard spin on it, then they know that this surface is going to react just like a traditional natural grass green.
If you could play any other sport professionally, what would it be?
Football, like soccer.
I love to play basketball.
Ice hockey. Basketball.
I would say English football, soccer.
Basketball. It's just so cool.
Soccer.
Go basketball.
It would be soccer, just to have, obviously football from where I come from, but just translating soccer.
If you could play any other sport professionally, what would it be?
Basketball, they're all guaranteed contracts.
Football, soccer.
Probably soccer.
Hockey.
Toss up for me. I always loved riding, racing dirt bikes, so that would have been my go-to, but some injuries involved. So outside of injuries, I might have stuck with baseball.
That spot really decks you out.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with technology. It's definitely not my father's golf, or my grandfather's.
Whoa,
Boom shakalaka.
What if tomorrow's tech met tomorrow's golf?
Golf is a game of tradition, but even it's changed. From the style, to the equipment, to the whatever this is. And if golf can change, why can't banking? Well, with SoFi's game-changing tech, now people can bank, borrow, and invest all in one app, so they can take their best shot at their ambitions. TGL presented by SoFi. Next Gen Golf meets Next Gen Finance. SoFi, get your money right.
Best short game in TGL presented by SoFi.
Seen Matt Fitzpatrick do some crazy stuff. Justin Thomas is always up there. There's quite a few.
Best TGL follow on social.
Max Homa.
Best overall athlete.
I feel like Tiger. I don't know about him playing any other sports, but he looks like he could have done anything in his prime.
Best trash talker.
Oh, man. Tiger's got to be up there.
Worst trash talker.
Probably myself.
Which player will call the most timeouts during the season?
I don't know. I feel like maybe Patrick Cantlay's pretty strategic.
Who will be the best dressed on match night?
Team New York.
If you could trade hair with anyone, who would it be?
I think I'd keep mine.
All right, let's take a look at the tail of the tape between these two semifinalists this season, New York and LA. Both teams knocked 17 points in triples, but LA found more success in singles over the past few weeks. New York held an edge in driving distance, greens in regulation, and was first in feet of putts made. But LA has the better of the two teams when it came to strokes gained, ball striking. All right, Claire, one of the great things about TGL presented by SoFi, all the data and metrics that we can access, which I know you are so feverishly and incessantly asking for and looking on your computer and just typing away because you're such a big J journalist in golf as we've seen it. But what do you think is the most important number to watch tonight?
27.
Oh.
Any guesses?
Pray do tell.
LA leads TGL in, let me get this right, in total holes won at 27 and also leads in single holes won at 13. So if you want to add those up, you get 40, but I decided to keep them separate.
That's great. You say 27, I say 24.
Ooh.
Because your number was a season total number. Mine is the last three matches for holes for points won by New York Golf Club, 14 of those being triples. Obviously on this show, if you've been watching us for the whole season, you know I'm always a victim of recency bias. We talked about Uncle Mo earlier. I like the momentum that leads into the playoffs with. So 24 points over the last three matches. That's a number that I like and that I enjoy viewing.
And what's a hole you're looking out for tonight, Jemai?
A hole I'm looking out for, although you know I love the par threes.
Yep.
But this particular hole I've enjoyed all season. This is Alpine. It's the sixth hole tonight in triples. And this is a hole where if you get the ball up on that fairway on the right slope, you can drive this thing 300 plus. The longest drive on this hole, 360 yards by Wyndham Clark, which ironically enough happened in the first match. Hasn't been one longer since. But if you can just position that ball on the slope, it will run that fairway for you. You'll be able to maybe reach the green in two. So Alpine is my hole to watch for tonight. One that I'd love to play too at some point. Let's get your hole to watch for tonight.
Blue Bonnet.
Oh, that's my other favorite.
Blue Bonnet
Runner-up.
started as a favorite for me because it's fun to say. But as I've gotten to know it better, I've just, liked it more and more when the tees are up or, virtually. It is a drivable par 4, which is my favorite type of hole in golf. It is playing 312 yards tonight and just high risk, high reward as you take a look here. The canyon edge over there, a slight miscalculation can really make things go off the rails quickly. But if you play it well, it's obviously a great birdie opportunity.
Yeah, which makes it dangerous for me. That's why I like Alpine, because it's safe and that ball can run. You want to have some opportunities to get your teammates in prime position to be able to score some points on the hole. We'll certainly see what happens tonight. I'll be looking at Blue Bonnet. You look out for Alpine for me. But we're getting ready for our first playoff matchup. New York Golf Club, they're getting ready as well. They lead in driving distance and greens and regulations. So many numbers for them. We're back with Matchup Live next.
Golf is a game of tradition, but even it's changed. From the style, to the equipment, to the whatever this is. And if golf can change, Why can't bank it? But with SoFi's game-changing tech, now people can bank, borrow, and invest all in one app so they can take their best shot at their ambitions. TGL presented by SoFi. Next-gen golf meets next-gen finance. SoFi, get your money right.
What is that?
What is that?
Ooh, what is that?
It's the Genesis. Something you'll get used to saying a lot.
Best overall athlete in TGL presented by SoFi.
I might have to go with Adam Scott on this one. I saw him in the gym a few times, and the guy's an animal.
Best golf shoe game in TGL.
Probably Keegan Bradley.
Shot clock. Scared or excited?
Excited, very excited. I like to play fast, so I think it'll be good.
Best TGL follow on social.
Chef Woozy, guy's just cooking on and off the course.
Which player will throw the most hammers during the season?
Maybe Justin Rose. He's probably going to try and put on the heat, which is great as a teammate. That's what I like to see.
Best trash talker in TGL.
Probably Tiger, just because he can kind of say whatever. And what is someone going to say to him, you know? Are they going to talk trash about his career? No.
That spot really decked you out.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with technology. This is definitely not my father's golf, or my grandfather's.
Whoa. Boom shakalaka.
What if tomorrow's tech met tomorrow's golf?
Benefits
Business Solver empowers your HR team with industry-leading software that controls costs and keeps employees really happy. That's Employee of the Decade stuff. That's what it means to be a business solver.
All right, the SoFi Center starting to buzz. People are making their way into the arena and getting ready for this playoff matchup as we welcome you back here to the SoFi Circle and coverage of our pregame coverage of the first ever match in playoff history and TGL history presented by SoFi. You can watch it at 7 p.m. on ESPN2 together between New York and LA, but we're going to give you our predictions in a moment. But first, our fashion forward segment, which we love. Here's Colin Morikawa coming in and, you know, just all black everything.
He and his wife, Catherine, were matching. Well, it's not hard to match when you can just go, you know, decked out in black, but they look great.
Yes, they do. So I'm giving this an A+ for sure. Tommy Fleetwood coming in a little bit more cash. We got some Sunday Red action being shown there to the left. But Tommy in a hoodie, pretty classic in team issued attire.
Love the look.
Sahith. Now,
wow.
Listen, Mamba mentality. Sahith knows what's up.
Mm-hmm.
I love how he's got the Kobe Bryant shirt coming in for the playoffs. He's got the killer mentality. New York Golf Club, Ricky Fowler just strolling in.
Yeah, he's a no rush.
Also in all black, got the dad hat on, the shades, and the bag. I mean, chef's kiss.
Cam Young, so usually Ricky Fowler is the one with a water bottle, but Cam Young has it in hand today.
Yeah, and then Xander Schauffele always coming in with the white tee. I mean, just casual, like he's ready to dominate. So I'm giving him an A+ for the simple yet effective look.
Yeah, I think all these guys kind of took it easy tonight. They had a big week last week. They're taking it easy with their. But let's take a look at the match predictor. So I want everybody to download the TGL app and make sure to play Match Predictor. And if you need some help with where to go, I'll run you through it. Jemai and I had picked.
We both got LA.
All right, Jemai. We both had LA to win.
Yeah. I mean, I like that, but New York.